All right, I think we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending on where you're tuning in from, and welcome to our December product updates webinar. We'll give people a few more minutes here to hop in, but I'll start by sharing just the deck, if I can find the deck. By the way, apologies in advance. We're running a skeleton crew here. It's just me and JB. We don't have any ops in the background or anybody helping us out. It's just us. So please
I mean,
deal with us.
we've done one before, right? So we're pretty much we're pretty
We're,
much
we're basically professionals by
yeah,
now.
we're good.
All right. So yeah, quickly before we get into the topics for today, just welcome everybody to the show. If you joined us last time, you may know us. My name's Alex. I'm the director of product marketing here. I'm also fashionably the only one of us who actually managed to find a Santa hat. JB, what's up with your Santa hat?
I know. Well, I'd like to say to you that obviously, we were well planned for this. If anything, it was more of a ruse. For me, Christmas does not start until December 10th. That's when Die Hard comes on. That's the day when it starts for me. So anything before then, it's not Christmas. I'm sorry, it's just not.
That's when Die Hard comes on. I like it. I like it. JB, of course, heads up our data integration side here at Supermetrics. So happy to have you on to chat about all the new cool stuff that we have going on at Supermetrics. Um,
Absolutely. It's been loads as well, been so much. And obviously, on the back of, all the Super Summit and, after all the incredible stuff, we've got so much to talk about. And yeah, really looking forward to digging into it.
Oh, yes. All right, but if we take a quick look at what we're going to chat through today, and by the way, you guys in attendance will see that there's a little bit of there's a chat tab should be a chat tab to your right. We don't have Q&A open or the Q&A module for this session, but if you have any questions on anything you're seeing at any given point during the session, just drop them into chat. We should be able to pick those out and answer them for you. And if we can, then we'll follow up with you at a later date. But yeah, just chatting through what we're going to cover today. Oh yeah, oh yes, I forgot where you're listening in from. I type that in chat. That's what we like to see. I typically do that at the top of every session, but forgot it. You see,
Right.
JB,
It's
it's
all
the
right.
skeleton crew.
I'm here to pick it up as well. No, obviously, yeah, we get such a good spread of people. I mean, look at this already. Canada, Tunisia, Argentina, Berlin, Spain. Incredible. Yeah, amazing to have you guys here.
That's that's what we like to see. But yeah, a couple things to walk through with you guys today. We're going to talk, of course, about some updates on the data insights, or how you get data into Supermetrics and take that out into your reporting ecosystem. A couple updates there that JB will walk you through, and then we have a bunch of interesting stuff on the platform and data apps side, SAML, some DWH updates, conversion uploads, all sorts of really cool stuff. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A there at the end if we get through our demos in time. But yeah, again, oh, it's snow. It's actually snowy here as well. I'm in Helsinki, Finland, and it's basically a blizzard outside. I'm a little scared to leave the office after this. I don't know if I'm going to
Oh,
be able to
yeah.
get on.
And the complete opposite for me. I'm in Dublin, absolute freezing, cold, no snow. So, not the fun bits of
Sounds inspiring, JB.
that, if anything.
All right, but let's get into it. JB, you want to take it away with the new data sources we've been releasing over the last quarter or so?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's go for it. So yeah, really excited to talk to you about more data sources yet again that we're pushing out. Really excited to listen to all the customers, all the feedback that we have to really push all these new kind of data sources through. Really big focus for us to naturally focus on more first-party data. So really excited to push through more yet again CRM and e-commerce focused connectors. We've got the likes of the big commerces, the Lazadas, and it's really exciting to get those through. We've got Zoho and Pipedrive that are kind of making their way in as well, and we're already seeing incredible adoption through that as well. And really, hats off if you're using any of these connectors. Please let us know how you're getting on. We really kind of value the feedback that are coming through. As always, our bread and butter paid media. We're always going to be expanding in the space. We released Reddit ads. We're seeing some great adoption through that already. It's already becoming, one of our top kind of like data sources as well. So really incredible to see, all the adoption through that as well. I don't know if you can hear the applause in the background, but that's one of the sales guys who've just closed some big deals for one of the start of the month as well. So really excited to kind of see the office erupting here in Dublin as well, which is amazing. And yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's great to see these data sources come through. If you're using any of these today, if you start to kind of start to see the value of them, yeah, please let us know. We'll be continually looking to release data sources and really excited to do more within the start of next quarter as well.
Yeah. And one thing that's always interesting is if if you're working with Supermetrics right now and you're noticing that we don't necessarily support a data source that you would like to have as one of those point and click configurable ones, drop it in chat. Let us know what you're looking for, and maybe we can get that on the roadmap for you. But speaking of data sources we don't natively support with the point and click integration. JB, you want to take the next topic, which is related to just that?
100%. Yeah. So let's dig into kind of like the unbounce. Yeah. So yeah, we've got our first one here. Yeah, we'll take that away as well for the chat, which is amazing. Yeah, great. Keep them coming as well. Anything that you're not getting data from right now, let us know. We can dig into that. And again, kind of in line with that, if you don't have a data source available, we want to make sure that you do have options. One of those options, as we know today, if you've been keeping up with, kind of what we've been pushing out to the market to kind of solve these problems, custom data import. Fantastic way of getting, additional data into the product today for where there isn't a native data source. Being able to connect your offline media, for example, into, kind of your existing data set to blend that together in one way. That's great. And this is a product that we're always going to be, incrementally improving upon. We're going to have more ways to import data. So right now we have that through, through email files. So you can email a file to your different locations and upload that media, upload that data. Sorry, if you're using that today, that's how you'll experience that. But in Q1, we're going to start pushing more sources to you. So that's going to be getting your data from SFTP location, Google Drive links, public URLs. We might even start looking into like webhooks, web scraping, for example. Effectively, wherever your data sits, we want to be able to grab that for you. Let us know if there's any different sources that you can think of that would be suitable for this kind of cause. We really love to hear the feedback there. We're also then pushing some big changes around kind of user experience changes as well. So being able to kind of adapt to kind of to those changes as you then go through the configuration of that. So these are things such as your data configuration that changes. We want to be reactive to that. We'll notify you up front when kind of various different issues occur, and we'll actually give you the ability to go in and edit those kind of configurations that you may have set up previously. And then obviously we want to give you further control. And I've actually got a demo as well, which we'll actually dig into here of a recent kind of feature that I've just pushed out, which is really kind of powerful in the way that you can actually define different date filtering depending on the data that you upload. So Alex just stopped sharing, so I'm going to go and share my screen and show you what we have here. Okay, so we're in the custom data import version of the hub here, and I've just got a draft configuration that I've created for my custom data import. And what I've got here is I've just got some custom data, various just from from kind of an e-commerce platform, which is kind of giving me some CRM data as well in various different formats. And we can see here we've just got various different customer information that we'd have, and we also have two dates here as well. So we have the created app date, which is obviously when the customer is created, and then we have the last purchase date of when the customer last made that purchase, and then we've got an aggregation from the platform directly of how much that amount amounts to for that individual customer case. Now we can see here that Alex unfortunately hasn't made any purchases. So Alex, you might want to go back and have a little think about how we can try and start to monetize you a bit more. But in terms of kind of where we want to take this forward, you can see we've got two dates here. We've got created at and we've got purchase date. Now we're going to have two use cases. One use case could be that, okay, I want to import this data so that I can filter on when the customer is created, so I can actually start to pull a report based on how many customers have actually entered my system, within the past year. But in the same issue, I also then might want to be able to understand how many customers have been able to actually then, kind of understand how many have bought within the past month or the past year, for example. So we now have the ability to actually go through and we can actually set, define the actual data type that we have here, which you've always been able to do based on dates for created at and last purchase. But then when we go into date filtering, we now have this option, which is great. This really allows us to actually define what we're actually filtering this date based upon. So we have the created at date, and then we have the last purchase date. So that gives us the ability and the flexibility for when we have dates that are represented more than once within a given file import, we can actually define which data set we actually want to filter upon. And then once we then have the last purchase date, we can then go ahead and we can then set up our custom import as normal. So yeah, so that's a great kind of opportunity that we'll have available to show us real flexibility around what we have within the custom data import as well. Cool. Hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, let us know kind of, if you're using CDI today, what you think of it. What would you change? What's working well? What's not? And, I can make sure I keep an eye on chat while Alex is going through the next bits and we can get into it.
Yeah, this is of course a rather new feature and functionality for us, and being adopted more and more at Supermetrics. If you don't yet have access to it, actually, JB, is it now visible when you log into hub.supermetrics.com?
Yeah, absolutely. So CDI is completely visible to everyone in the hub. So if you're one of our lucky customers, with cloud license, you will have the ability very soon to actually use this for free. So as part of your existing license, you will have the ability to create 3 configurations, set up 3 different imports. That'll be towards the end of the year when we'll be releasing that. But if you don't use CDI today, if you don't have a cloud license, you'll be able to go to the hub. You can find a bit more about custom data import, the value that it brings to you, the different benefits. You will have then a call to action to actually reach out to our sales team and actually speak to us a bit more. And one of our helpful sales guys will be in touch and tell you why all the amazing things about CDI and how it could work for you. Yeah, great question. I'll answer that as well. Yeah, so Brooks put a great question in around when will the download from a link option be available? Yeah, so we were hoping to get that out by the end of the year. We did run into a slight issue just in terms of the security aspects of doing that. We just had to patch, the different things around that would stop us from downloading via links. That's currently going in now. That's then going to unblock that. So in short, we should be having that within the start of Q1. So by February, you should be in a position where you'll be able to download files from a link.
Very good. This is why I love having you on here, JB. I would have said, got to get back to you on that, Brooke.
What you would have said is next week, and then said, "Hey, GB, we've got to ship this by next week. Is that okay?"
Yeah. Exactly. That's actually how it would have gone. All right, but let's keep the party rolling. So, thanks, JB. Next up, we can hop over to the platform and data app side. And the first thing we wanted to touch on was single sign-on using SAML. So now, those of you who have used Supermetrics for a long time now will know that we have always offered single sign-on using Google and Microsoft. If you have gone to hub.supermetrics.com, or even earlier when it used to be called team.supermetrics.com, you would have been able to log in using your Google or Microsoft credentials. But now what we've just rolled out is the ability to support really any identity provider that's using the SAML protocol. This means if you're using something like Okta or really any SAML-based identity provider, you're going to be able to configure those enterprise credentials and use those to provision users and deprovision users from accessing the Supermetrics platform. Now, we have, I won't do a big demo about it because it's essentially just clicking a login button, me just logging in. It's not going to be very, very impactful. But now if you go to hub.supermetrics.com, there's an option to continue with SSO. And if your organization has configured the SAML-based identity provider with us, you'll be able to log in. Now, this does require, to be able to use this, it does require you to contact us and ask for the necessary provisions to set it up. But it's pretty straightforward. We have ready-made documentation for Google Workspace, Microsoft Entra ID, Okta, but really, again, any SAML-based provider will be available. And this is available for any of our customers on the enterprise plan. So again, it's for those customers that really need that added layer of security and added layer of flexibility in terms of account provisioning. Differs slightly from from what we typically call it zero configuration SSO through Google and Microsoft, but just means you're able to use any any identity provider. So just wanted to call that out there in case you and your organization do require that extra level of security and flexibility in identity management. We offer this now as well. But yeah, moving on to the first thing I'm going to get to the demo, which is the reporting on non-aggregatable metrics in your data storage. So essentially, if you are a data warehouse customer or a Supermetrics storage customer, so using our platform to transfer high volumes of data into a data warehouse or into our storage, we've released a big update, which is essentially a renewed refresh setting. Now, typically in the past, what we did is that whenever we ran a transfer to a data warehouse, we would just essentially overwrite your existing or do a full refresh of your data table. So not really overwriting anything, but refreshing everything at scale. Now, that's typically works pretty well. But if you have these types of reach and frequency based metrics, so think daily website visitors or likes on your Facebook page, that could mean that if you wanted to track those metrics over time, it might overwrite and you just get like a global value for what your likes and followers were on or visitors were on that date. Now, what we've done, and I will hop into my hub instance here. So here we go. What we've essentially done is now, and again, this will be mainly useful for those of you who are using a data warehousing solution, so using something like BigQuery or Supermetrics storage through us. When you go to your transfers here, now our product team graciously made me a transfer here called Alex, please demo this one and not the other ones so that I don't mess with anybody's demo instances. But what I can do here now, and this is actually a GA4, so this is a site visitor, example. So I can actually go in and edit this transfer and really be flexible with with the way I want this data to refresh. We've always offered the refresh schedule, so how frequently you want your data to be refreshed, but we haven't offered the ability to customize how you want this data to be refreshed. So now, for example, when I go in here and you see that I have the total users field. Now that's something if I want to look at my total users on a daily level and I'm running this into a data warehouse, typically what would happen is campaign A brought in 5,000 users on Monday, and now campaign A brought in 8,000 users on Tuesday. But when I run that query or that transfer again the next day, it's going to overwrite. It's just going to look at campaign A, now has this many visitors. So now, and that's what happens when you do this full refresh, it does the overwrite. So what we've done is now we offer the ability to also append data, and you can actually toggle this. You can change this for different tables in your transfer, so you can have different settings for each table. So now for this one, because this is one of those 14-day user lookbacks, I want to actually append. So rather than overwriting everything, it just adds the data to the bottom of the table. Now that means again, you can track stuff like user visits on a daily level. You can track stuff like how your social media following is evolving day over day, because it keeps just creating a new row. Here's your page. Here's how many followers it has had on this day, and then it keeps adding data as you go. Typically, again, something that in the past we would have just kind of done a blanket refresh and would have overwritten some of your past data. Now we also have the chance to append that. This is going to be super useful, again, for anybody using data warehousing or Supermetric storage and monitoring reach and frequency based metrics. It's now been rolled out to some of our larger agency and brand clients who are testing it out, and we're making sure to iron out any of the kinks and going to be pushing this out. I think I just spoke to the PM today. I think he said we're targeting a mid-January release for this. But if you're interested in getting a sneak peek of it, maybe just drop a comment in the chat, and we'll see if we can get you enrolled to this at an earlier date. But again, really cool update for our data warehousing customers. Cool. All right, let's go back to the slides. Let's see, were there any, JB, did you catch any comments on this, please?
Yeah, no, keeping an eye in chat. Yeah, nothing specific around that. I think they're all blown away by how you can technically get through all of the incredible features of our storage solution. So
I
yeah,
I I I I totally get it. I would be blown away too.
yeah,
Again,
please, round of applause for Alex, please.
if you are on one of our data warehousing solutions, do check this out. It's going to be a big unlock for reach and frequency. Cool. All right. Well, then let's keep it going, and we can move on to another interesting update, which is around conversion uploads. So now this is one that I'll also show you a sneak peek about, but this is in kind of just giving a caveat that this is somewhat in early stages of development, and it kind of breaks the mold of how we think about transferring data and moving data here at Supermetrics. So, traditionally, the way Supermetrics has worked in terms of moving data from point A to point B is that we pull data out of your marketing platforms, your paid channels, etc., and we put them into a reporting solution. You can report on them in Google Sheets. You can put them in a data warehouse. You can look at them in Looker Studio. Sure, many of you do that today. What we're now investigating and building towards is being able to send some of this conversion information back into those marketing platforms. So as we get closer, or actually, Google keeps pushing their cookie deprecation back and back. So we'll see if that actually ever happens. I think the most recent take was that they won't fully deprecate them. It's kind of, let's see, we'll leave some stuff in. They're trying to push as far as they can, but essentially the undeniable fact is that signal loss or signal fidelity is going to get a lot worse over the coming years. So rather than relying on cookies and tracking pixels and stuff like this, you're going to need to start investing into your own first party data and first party data solutions, and using those to optimize your targeting, either through stuff like conversion uploads or journey orchestration or target audience building, all of these things. And to aid with this, the first thing that we're investigating here is building out this kind of self-serve conversion API integration. This means that when you have conversion data from something like your CRM, maybe that's HubSpot, Salesforce, Shopify, Klaviyo, the ones you see on the screen here, maybe it's something else, maybe it's something from custom data import that JB was talking about just earlier. The ability to take that information and send it back to an advertising platform for targeting is going to become super key. So that's what we're looking into. And let me just give you a sneak peek at what that is going to look like in Supermetrics. Again, caveat that this is early stages, so I'm not going to be able to run through the whole flow, but you'll get an idea of what it's going to look like. So you guys, of course, won't see this given that it's still in early access, but we're going to be having a section for what we're calling data activation, and we're calling these data streams. So being able to build out a data stream that sends information from your marketing platforms or your first-party data sources back to advertising and web analytics, for example. So really simply, and this process is something that you would have had to either have a data warehouse in place or some kind of data engineering and pipeline operation in place to build this feedback into your ad platforms. What we're trying to do is make this super self-serve, make this super easy, essentially just point and click and send information back. So right here, I can go in and click on create a new data stream. Now for this beta stage, we only have one data source in the beta, which is a spreadsheet. So this is assuming that you have information in a spreadsheet that you can tackle. In the future, of course, going to be adding all those CRM and e-commerce platforms that I was talking about. I have some demo materials here set up that I'll just click through. It's aptly named sheet 1. And then our first destination, our first conversion API that we're working with in this beta stage is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn advertising. So I'm going to do LinkedIn conversions, select that. select Ilka's connection. He's the PM who works on this. Select our CAPI test account, and then I'm going to just choose any conversion point. I'm going to take the thank you page. So when someone converted or like hit the thank you page, we take that as a conversion event and we want to send it back. So now here's where the magic starts happening. So basically, you're going to LinkedIn API tells us that, or the LinkedIn conversion API tells us that they need a certain amount of information to establish a reliable conversion event. So again, you typically will have these in your either in your CRM or your ecom platform. So I just have these. I didn't name my columns. I should have, but it's trust me, these are correct. So column A is my timestamp when the conversion happened. Column B is the email, so the conversion email. Column C, this is all dummy data. So I don't believe this is anyone's actual email, and that's kind of my LinkedIn tracking UID. I could also have, it's also recommended to send some information back like the first name and last name and the company name. Here we go. And if you wanted, you could also send the conversion values. So if I do these, and there we go. So basically, what I'm telling LinkedIn now is that I have this set of data, it has this information in it, and I want to tell you whenever somebody converts, I want to tell you that this is a conversion so you can now automatically optimize and target my advertising for me. So then you just go through. I'm not actually going to go ahead and create this whole stream because I don't want to start sending any data back. But that's essentially how it works. And once the data stream is created, it's going to be able to automatically send conversion information back. Now, you're hearing this, and typically that would be what the tracking pixel or the cookie would do, right? But as those start going away, as that fidelity starts getting lost, marketers are going to have to rely more and more on their own first party data, their own conversion data, to be able to reliably then use that data to target, optimize, build better audiences, build better targeting, and optimize their advertising better. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up that this is something that we are building for at Supermetrics. It's again a slightly different take on data movement. Typically, we've moved data into reporting. Now we want to start moving that back to create this kind of cyclical journey of your marketing data. We're in early stages with Conversion API, and I think we've actually talked about it here in these sessions a couple times, but never had any UI to demo. So it was pretty cool to actually show the type of UI that we're working on. And what I wanted to say is that if any of you are having conversations about this, any of you are thinking about investing into conversion upload solutions or data activation solutions in general, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to showcase this to you, get you in maybe as a beta user, get you playing around with it and giving us feedback, kind of very kind of low commitment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish a poll right now. You should have a poll option on the right-hand side of your screen as well. If you're interested in being a beta tester for something like this, just say yes. We'll reach out to you. We'll handle everything. We'll schedule a call with you. We'll figure out what's the best possible setup for you guys. We really want to get this into the hands of actual clients to see what the benefit is and how we can make it even better, basically.
Yeah, that was amazing, Alex. Yeah, and I think this kind of highlights, kind of where we're going as a business. I mean, we always talk internally, that we've always been a pipeline tool. We send data from, from source to destination, and this is the first time that we're able to kind of see that circular motion, and I think it gives people so much control. I mean, I come from a business, previously, whereby the conversion pixel was everything. And we spoke to so many customers who struggled with that integration, and they struggled to get resourcing within the engineering function to get these pixels on. And even when you worked with a different platform, you then had to put in another pixel. And this allows us to completely control that. Imagine a world where you can build your own pipelines without an engineer having to write code. We have, the ability for data teams to come in and completely control their own streams and what happens to that data. This is a beautiful part of the product. Really excited about, where this can get to. Fantastic.
Yeah, and it really, you may have seen some of our Supermetrics messaging over the last couple months or so, where we've started talking about the marketing intelligence workflow. So we talk about connecting data, we talk about managing it, analyzing it, and now we're also starting to talk more about activating it. So typically, our customers, and you guys in the audience for sure, if you get data through Supermetrics, you take a look at it in a spreadsheet or a report, you are making a decision based off of what you're seeing in that report. You are activating that data somewhere. So now what we want to do is just help you with that, and streamline a little bit of that work, and hopefully activate some of that data on your behalf at kind of at a pace that's at scale, so you can make super rapid iterations.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Um,
actually touching on the signal loss as well, I mean, like you said, Alex, obviously Google have been, changing their mind. And I think it's about the sixth or seventh time that they've done this, right? But I think, I definitely think, it stands to reason that, everyone's aligned that brands need to own more of their first party data.
yeah,
And I think this is an opportunity for them to do that. Yeah, so it's great. We do have a few questions in chat around this. So first one being, will there be an additional cost?
yeah.
Alex, I don't know if you know up front. I can answer this or whatever. What works best?
So I mean, so long story short, we don't know yet exactly what the economics of this are going to be. Likely there will be a light incremental cost to it. It's not going to be anything crazy, because typically these solutions have been priced um, quite high, and we want to make this more accessible. But the reality is we just don't know what the economics are going to be yet. That's why we want to get this into the hands of people, figure out, what's the value of it, how we can generate the most value for our customers. And there's a follow-up question related to this, which is, will we need to subscribe to Supermetrics API first to use conversion uploads? That's a no. So Supermetrics API is something we use to deliver data to kind of homegrown reporting tools, or build out custom reporting solutions, or basically push data into any kind of analytical platform that you have. This will be slightly different. So this Supermetrics API, crudely speaking, Supermetrics API is a analytics destination, whereas these are slightly different.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
So
know,
very
JB,
good.
if you have anything to add on to that.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And yeah, I think to the cost question, definitely. I mean, the big part that we want to do now that Alex spoke about is, we want to experiment. We want to test. We want to, test our hypotheses in terms of, our assumptions in terms of, is this solving that problem? And as
Yeah,
part of that, if you guys come on, as kind of beta customers to help us solve that there won't be any cost upfront for that.
yeah,
Yeah, and we will see what kind of what the costing model looks like going forward. We are actually making decisions around packaging and pricing, which is more favorable to getting people into the product nowadays. Which is a case of, for example, you saw streams there. So, for example, with CDI, we spoke about for the custom data import tool. We talked about the configuration options. So we're making this free for free for our existing cloud license holders, so that they can have 3 without having to then upgrade and things like that. And we're also then looking at the self-serve option as well for those that don't have a cloud license within Q1, so that we can allow you to come into the product. And that could look like you could get 1 configuration for free, for example. That could be a similar approach that we take here. We
yeah.
just don't know yet. But yeah, a big part of that is kind of working with you, with you guys to figure out what that is.
Yeah, and yeah, that's probably a good clarification to echo on what you just said. Beta testing, of course, is completely free. There's no cost to that. That's you giving us just you giving us time is that's worth it to us.
Absolutely.
There's also a question about if there's going to be a recording of this session. Yes, the session is being recorded, and I don't know if it comes automatically to your email, but if it doesn't automatically come, our operations team will send it later on, and it will also, of course, be posted in the Supermetrics community, so you can always access it there. Long story short, there will be a recording, and it will find you.
Yeah, so we will always see Alex in a Santa hat, and that will forever.
Great. Love to see it. All right, JB, should we head over to our last topic for today, which is on field compatibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this one's great. So for those that have been using the Supermetrics product for a while, especially within Google Sheets and the other kind of destinations where you'll be able to kind of use the sidebar type of motion. You'll have seen, especially on the data source that you're using, that we don't, with the usability isn't incredible for some data sources. And that's purely down to the amount of fields that we expose. We have some data sources, Facebook and Instagram, where we have, kind of hundreds of dimensions that you have the ability to select from. And some of those fields may not be, compatible with each other for various different reasons. And before, we've allowed you to pick those fields individually, and you'll try and run a query, and then you'll get feedback that it's not possible. That's not great, and we apologize for all of the pain and suffering that we've caused, up to that point. But we're in a good position now where we have the ability to let you know ahead of time when fields aren't compatible with each other. And we've called this with our incompatibility service. So I'm going to go ahead and I will share my screen to show you a very quick demo of this. So if you can hand over there, Alex, if that's okay. Perfect. Okay. Second screen now. Great. Okay, so you should be able to see my sidebar in an enlarged view. So I'm going to test this just with our RTB connection here. So we can select all accounts, for example, and we'll then go into the dimension view here. So if we actually go through ahead, we can actually look for these dimensions. I'll zoom out and I'll show you all we have available here, which is great. And, we can do, what we need to kind of pull various different information. So let's say, for example, we can pull in things like, sub campaign name, and we can pull in, kind of your creative name, creative hash. That's all fine. And we can then run those together. Now, if we actually want to start from creative, for example, we can actually then push in creative name, and we can then do, sub campaign name. That's really not a problem. Now, if we go back into, let's say, category, we get category name, and then we start to get these fields grayed out. So this actually gives you immediate feedback that, we don't have the compatibility within the creative, within the creative kind of report types here. So then we have the ability for you to then have various different limitations available there. And then that just really gives you that really upfront immediate feedback in terms of what fields are compatible with each other and what's not. Very simple, kind of, implementation there, very simple demo, but hopefully, the usability that brings on the other side, will save you a lot of pain and heartache that you may have experienced this in, previously. Cool. So we do have a question from Jason. Will this UX be added to the data warehousing? Yes, it will in time. So effectively, the way that we've built this out is that we've built out a completely separate at the data source side compatibility service. That's what we call it internally. And that compatibility service is effectively being integrated with all of the different destinations today. So you just saw it in Google Sheets there. We're going to start rolling this out. We're currently testing it in Google Sheets as it is right now. So we're not fully there with all of our destinations. We're currently just measuring the adoption, ironing out the kinks, make sure there's no real big problems there. And then we'll start to kind of roll this out with the rest of the destinations within Q1 and Q2. So yes, it will be available in data warehousing. So you'll start to see that improvement there too. Oh, Alex, are you on mute or you're perfect miming?
I was on mute. Classic.
Classic.
I'm glad you had that off the top of the dome, because I started slacking up the RPM who works with the DWH solutions to see if you had an answer for that. But good to have JB on the call.
There we go. Yeah. Hopefully I didn't just make that up. Yeah, no, I didn't.
And I think the status, from what I understood it, like JB said, the status now is that it's been rolled out to some select connectors. I can't remember which ones, but it was like 8 or so. So we're testing it out there, testing the adoption, and then gradually we'll start expanding that towards the end of the quarter or end of the year, and then, like JB said, roll it out to other destinations in the future.
Exactly. Yeah, I do actually have the list of them, which we do have rolled out for as well. So we have LinkedIn ads, Instagram insights, Snapchat marketing, TikTok organic, I believe, RTB and Xander. So that's rollout right now. And we do have stage rollout as well. So there could, it could impact you so far, it could not. We do A/B test that to obviously make sure that we're not detracting user experience too heavily.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually did get a response from Otto as well. He said that, so obviously backed up what you just said, so you didn't make that up. It will be added. But also, we are looking at investigating building a data explorer in
Yeah.
Supermetrics next year, which will also include this functionality. So basically, being able to preview all your data quite easily, and see the compatibilities before you even move to transfer it. Of course, you can do that a little bit now with Table Manager and previews, but we're investigating a much more kind of robust, quick data explore functionality directly in Supermetrics. So don't have anything on that today, but maybe that's for the next product
Yeah.
updates.
No, absolutely, yeah, and yeah, like touching on that, I mean, that would be great. We've been chatting around the Data Explorer for a while. We know that we've got the Query Manager within the hub, and it's a really great product where a lot of people simply seek validation, like you were saying. I want to make sure that data is coming through for this data source, and that's where we actually allow people to build schemas. But it kind of feels weird. It's not really as part of the data warehouse solution. So yeah, having that within the Explorer function, I mean, that would be great to see.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that rounds out all of our materials. Any last questions from anybody online that you'd like to, anything you would have wanted to hear more about today that you didn't hear about, anything we can bring up at a future session? Again, our goal is to run these sessions quarterly. So this one will be the last one for the year. But we'll be back early next year with more roadmap updates and more sessions. And one thing for you to also keep an eye on, please don't comment on the Santa hat. I'm very self-conscious about my Santa hat. No, just kidding. I own it.
What makes
Uh,
it what makes it so weird is that you actually wear this year round, right? Like it's not just
yeah, exactly. You'll see me like this in March as well. One thing
every
to keep
webinar going forward. Perfect.
One thing to keep your eyes on is we will be making a bigger roundup post about everything that happened in the Supermetrics product this year. That's going to be, we've basically written it in the product marketing team, but we're just getting some final tweaks on it, and we're going to likely be posting that to the community next week. So look out for that. It's basically a run through of everything that happened, every major release. It's not even everything, and it turned into an 8-page blog post on its own. So keep an eye out on that if you want to read up on all the cool stuff we did this year. But with that, I don't see any more questions or comments on the Santa hat. So
Yeah.
JB, maybe we break for the year. Any last words of wisdom?
Sounds good to me. No, going once, going twice. Yeah, happy, and we hope everyone's got Die Hard ready to go for the Christmas film. Maybe that should have been a poll for favorite Christmas films. It's
I hope that's on one of my streaming services. It's got to be.
what's your favorite Christmas film, Alex?
Polar Express.
Oh wow, that's very wholesome. Okay, nice. That's
I know,
great.
right? I know,
That
right?
sounds good. Yeah.
Watch it every
Mine
year.
is mine is sadly The Holiday. As much as I try to be as macho with Die Hard, Holiday. Great.
You tried to play it cool with Die Hard.
Yeah, no, I can't say no to Jude Law. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the year, and hopefully you all have a nice and relaxing holiday season. Recharge, and we'll be back at it in Q1. Until then, happy
Yeah.
holidays.
Looking forward to happy holidays, guys. Hope you have a good end of the year.
Bye.